Hey, this is your host, Anthony Tank Mansfield, and with me today is
Giles Chickering.
and this is What You Into.
What you into? What you into?
All right, we're back in the basement. Giles is back in the basement. Dude, it's so good to see you. How you been?
It's been an absolute pleasure. I've been doing great, and I'm excited to be here.
This is something you and I talked about last time you were on. Last time you were on, complete different subject. We were talking about being into like 2000s emo scene, punk rock, all of the above music. And as you were leaving, you were like, if you ever want to do a Fast and the Furious episode, let me know. And it kind of hit me sideways, and I was like, okay, man, we'll check it out. And I started looking into this, and I was like, yeah, we definitely need to talk about this. Giles, why the Fast and the Furious franchise?
Overall, overarching statement, Fast and the Furious is my Star Wars. Wow.
I could see that.
How's that hit you?
When I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, this is just the Avengers for gearheads." Like it makes sense that there's like this little world for everybody.
It is a bona fide universe. There is a theme park section developed to it. I mean, it's cemented. It is a piece of culture, whether we like it or not. But specifically, I say it is my Star Wars because this is the first movie is the movie that I saw when I was at that very impressionable age, where you go in to see something having no idea really what it is, and then it absolutely just blows your mind in a way that changes the course of your life. And this happened to me with a movie starring Vin Diesel.
When you walked out of that first movie, you just like immediately turn your mom. You're like, "We need a spoiler on at least two on the van."
I remember the entire evening. True, I really do. It came out June of 2001. I remember I was there with my mom and my brother and his girlfriend at the time, who were like 8 years older than me. So it was like, like one of the first times it's like, oh, like I'm just, we're going out and like we're hanging out, we're seeing a movie. I remember we went to this Chinese place that we had never been to before. And then we went into the movie theater, and then for 2 hours, I just had my friggin' mind completely blown.
How old are you at this point?
I was 10 years old.
Oh, perfect.
At this point.
Perfect
So,
age.
like, really the perfect age to see a wildly overdone car movie.
Yes.
And I mean, at the time, the intensity of the dialogue and everything, all of this just registered to me as cool. There's no irony. There was no... this is ridiculous. It was just like, damn, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And it completely changed many of the next years of my life.
In your mind, you're like, this is just a documentary of Los Angeles. As a 10-year-old, this is exactly what's happened on the West Coast.
I don't even know if I knew the name of the movie when we were walking into it. I had no idea what it was. I don't even know why it was that we were going to see it. And then, like, my brother was 18 years old with his girlfriend. It made no sense for him to be like hanging out with his mom and his 10-year-old brother.
Yeah.
And I felt cool as hell. And then, I mean, I just saw this thing and I was just like, holy shit.
I don't know if there's a worse double date for anybody
Oh, yeah,
than your mom and your little brother.
It's something I don't understand why it happened. And the more I think about it, the more, because I mean, when I was 18, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
no way.
No idea why it happened. For some reason, fortunately, it did. And I just thought, this is the dopest shit. Immediately, because that movie was so popular, they started carrying like car magazines at like Borders and remember when Walmart had a magazine section?
A mighty rack that was a full aisle.
It was a full aisle, and there was a magazine there called Super Street, which was basically just Fast and Furious in the form of, at the time, like a 150-page monthly magazine. And I remember buying a copy of that and then just stacks of them for the rest of my life.
Really?
Like, for the next like 4 or 5 years, just every time in one of those stores, it's just like, all right, here's Super Street, here's Import Tuner, here's the 7 other magazines that are kind of versions of that. This was all perfect early 2000s, pre-internet access, the last bastion of like non-internet media. And I mean, I was just obsessed with all of this shit. I thought the coolest thing you could do in your life was take a car and dump $40,000 into it and paint it to be the most obnoxious thing that you could make it be going down the street.
Everybody wants an Arctic Orange Civic that's lowered to the ground. That's what we all need in our lives.
That was actually a huge trend. I mean, like a late 90s Toyota Supra now that's untouched. If it has a 2JZ engine in it, that is a $250,000 car now because of this dumbass movie and the hundreds of thousands of people that became part of the culture as a result of it.
Yeah, I think that is a big part where you see there the culture where like it really was putting that entire thing of like car racing out to the mainstream of the world. Because you're right, we weren't in a spot where like the internet really wasn't there yet, where you could like have groups and stuff and subreddits and all that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's just like boom, this is happening, and people across America were like, oh shit, I want one of those.
Right. This is also like, early like MTV Cribs era consumerism and everything. So this was just
metal.
like new metal. It was that. It was also just like, let's make music videos. Every music video has to have a Ferrari in it. It has to do all this shit. And this was just like, most of this movie was like a weird depiction of like nearly poor people going out and just doing stupid shit. And then that was kind of like the ethos of the culture too. It was supposed to be like, if you're a teenager or an early 20-year-old and you have nothing going on with your life, so you dump all of your money into building one of these cars, this is a culture that you can subscribe to. And I was certain in my young age that was exactly what my life would be. Got the magazines, didn't have the internet. Do you remember Spike TV?
Hell yeah, I remember Spike TV.
Did you ever turn Spike TV on early Saturday mornings?
Where they had like the dudes where they were in the garage and you could call in and talk to them, or
They had dudes. They literally just had dudes working in real time on cars, narrating what they were doing out loud, and then half the show was just product placement. It was literally just an advertisement for spark plugs, and then, I mean, I would just watch that shit every weekend for like years. It's really crazy what my life has turned out being, considering how obsessed I was with that. In my youth. Also, side note, I don't know how much impact it actually had, but this was also late summer 2001. There's a strong chance that I might remember this a little more rose-colored because it was also months before 9/11 and before I spent 20 years just watching the world fall apart. So there could be that component to it as well.
There is that bit of happiness for you watch pre 9/11 movies. We're going back right now. We're watching The Sopranos in season 1's 1999, and like you see Tony get on the turnpike and turn and look, and there's the towers, and it's like, oh shit! Like, this is that world.
Yeah. Remember when we thought the pandemic was going to last like 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah, when DeWine grounded us, and then it was like, oh no, this is going to be way longer.
Yeah, I thought what would be fun during that is watching all of The Sopranos. So I did that in like 3 weeks, which is something like 50 hours of television.
It's so much.
It's so much. And then also you realize at the end of it that every character is just like a pet. That didn't make the pandemic any easier to start. So as a side note, if anyone's thinking about doing that, absolutely don't.
That does happen as you're watching it. Cause like, again, we're on like episode 12 of the first season, and there's so much funny shit that happens, but then one of them will do something completely horrible, like punch a woman or just like, strangle a guy. And you're just like, oh yeah, I forgot these guys are fucking assholes.
The moral of every season of that show is all of these people are bad.
Yes.
And then the whole show ends with you just remembering, oh, they're all bad people. Like, it's not like Breaking Bad was like, oh, who's the good like Sopranos, there's no discuss. It's like, no, they're all pieces of shit. And they just become that throughout.
Me and my buddy Cody were talking about this. We came up with the Italian kaiju theory, where where Tony Soprano is Godzilla, and even though he's a piece of shit, there's just worse pieces of shit that try to fuck up New Jersey, and he has to take them out.
So he's he's the reigning monster of the
Yeah.
of the others.
He's not the worst one. There's way Joey Pants' character on the show,
Right, yeah.
like way more of a piece of shit. Definitely like a Mecha
Killed the
Godzilla.
horse, yeah.
Yeah, or like King Dendahar. Like, you know, way bigger pieces of shit than Tony. But at the end of the day, Tony is still a fucking piece of shit.
Oh yeah, he's terrible.
Yeah, bad guy. Well, let's do this real
We
quick.
digress. Yeah.
Let's jump out for 1 second. Listener, you find me at Neil to No One is where you can find me on Instagram and my link tree. You can find Giles over at Zorse Industry. It's like horse with a Z, which is what zebras are. And you can also check out the return of Cool Showman currently at the Commonwealth Sanctuary. Dude, Cool Showman is one of my favorite podcasts / live shows. Can you kind of explain what it is?
It's basically a live surrealist talk show. So it's almost like everything I like because it's a multimedia thing. There are live stunts sometimes. There are points where it's dripping in irony to the point where you don't even understand what's happening. And I just try to make it feel as much like you're living in a cartoon as possible when you're watching it. It's a real trip.
It is awesome, and yeah, I enjoy it so much because of what you're saying. We're like the line is so blurred between what's real and what's not. Sometimes I can't tell. I'm not sure if like Giles is legit upset or if this is for a joke. And then it's funny watching people's reaction to stuff on the show where you have like 3 other comedians, and sometimes it's like I don't know if they're all in on the joke or not, or like 2 are and 1 isn't.
Here's the secret. I am also not in on the joke. So no one knows what's going on. It is truly just contained insanity. And the fact that we're able to fit it within a 90-minute program and that I'm able to pull off some of the things that I attempt on that are, I mean, not to pat myself on the back, but boy, have I really done it there. So.
Are you gonna bring it all back to YouTube and all the past?
The most recent one is already out on YouTube, and then we're gonna keep filming, and we're back live at Commonwealth on Friday, April 12th. So the next live one is there. I've got the guests booked for it. I know what the closer is gonna be. I think it's going to be one of the funnier ones that we've had, not so much just insane. And yeah, it's going to be cool.
I'm stoked on it. I can't wait to come out and see it live. And listener, definitely give it a follow. Check it out. Cool Show, man. You can find it on YouTube. Is under Zorse Industries on
Zorse
YouTube as well?
Industries YouTube page, and it's the most recent one up there.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's one more thing before we talk full on Fast and the Furious night. I was recently checking out your Instagram, dude. You're playing drums in a band now. How did this happen? When did this happen? What's going on?
Well, probably like late last summer. John Bass, comedian, famously of Lexington, but also the entire Midwest at this point, is also an incredibly talented guitarist. He was in a band down in Lexington called FBA, and he has a bass player from that band who is incredible. And I think they've just been playing together for a long time, but also they're just so good. I mean, it's one of those crazy things where you see 2 people that are synced so well, like you have to kind of not think about it because it's crazy what they're able to instantly do together. It's like they're one person. And then we have our singer, Bennett. Total insane person. And he's exactly what you want for the front of your, I guess, mostly hardcore band. And then I am playing drums, and I am just desperately trying to keep up with all of them. So,
have you been playing drums for long, or was it something that you had done before and came back into? Like, where does that come from?
I did student band in 5th through 8th grade, and I never practiced, so I was the worst at it. Doing I technically knew how to read sheet music. I never just. Even now, I think that might be one of the craziest uses of my time possible, to just sit there and just hit a practice pad and then count to 4 and then hit it again. And then somewhere like mid high school, I started going to concerts, and then I just kept staring at the drummer. I already owned a drum set at home from like 6th grade or something that I just never figured out how to play. And that was also around the time that iPods came out. So I just started cranking an iPod to full volume, hard plastic, white, bad earbuds, no ear protection over it.
You don't need those.
Just competing with the noise of the full volume drum
Yeah, you want
set.
more decibels.
I passed a hearing test less than 2 months ago, and I don't know how. Because I just forced myself to play along and just like learn by ear. And then I kept getting more and more into it. And then like my senior year of high school, I would come home from school and I would play like 30, 60 plus minutes every day.
Dude.
I used to be very, very, like 18, 19 years old. I was very, very good. And then I stopped playing almost at all, like by the end of college. Was never in a band for more than like one event. Always just playing along to music. And then I had a drum set that I brought with me to Florida eventually, and then moved that up here. And then I was in the pandemic, and then just kept playing more and more. So I am still not even half as good as I used to be, but I am treading water with this band.
What a good find for this band, this diamond in the rough, where it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, Giles actually has a lot of experience playing drums, and he has a lot of background, and we should probably pick him up, and he's actually going to be okay for this. It's like, all right, cool, let's get him.
Right. I mean, weird. And then it's like, we met through comedy, and it's like, oh yeah, John has been playing guitar for 25 years, has listened to every hardcore band that's ever existed, and could probably play most of their songs right now. And then his bass player, weirdly, is like a PhD student. So he's in the same, like we have that overlap somehow. And yeah. And then it's just, I thought John really led the charge, and he kind of just kept hitting us up. And then finally we all got together, and I was like, all right, we got together once. John can stop bothering us. Like, we did it. It's okay. And now we've played together like 15, 20 times. So I guess we are a band now.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. And we're just kind of slowly just writing more and more. And the songs actually sound pretty good, I think. It's we'll see when we start playing live.
When you're writing, like, do you come and you're like, hey, here's what I've set up in terms of drums, or are people like, hey, here's what we got, what could you do it in this time signature?
John is just a riff machine, and then that bass player, just the second he hears it, instantly jumps right in, and then I'm just trying to keep up with them.
Just fill in.
Yeah, and I mean that's pretty much what we've done so far, and we've done. I don't know. We have one song that just starts like super like off kilter, and then it morphs into what sounds like a fucking Pantera song, and then like it's weird. If we play live at some point, I'm interested to see what the reaction is, because it's very eclectic, and it could be fucking cool. I don't know.
I mean, there's Mr. Bungle fans, so I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that being said,
right,
there has to be a fan of you.
There's
guys.
an appetite for everything.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We just gotta continue moving in a forward direction. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you, man. I wish you good luck with it. Oh, one more thing before we get off this. Yeah. You mentioned earlier you're playing like when you were a kid, like 40 to 60 minutes at a clip. Dude, what's your cardio like playing on a drum kit for that level?
My entire life, I have always been a terrible athlete, and I have always had a freakish level of endurance. I have always been able to run very slow for a very, very long time, and it's never made sense.
God damn, dude. You were built to be a drummer or in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, and I'm headed towards both. So.
It's true. It's true. USA.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hey, let's not think about nuclear annihilation or the fall of Western capitalism. Let's happy talk. Let's talk Fast and the Furious.
Nothing makes me happier.
All right, man. So this thing is like, what? We're at a point of like, with the Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, we're at 10 movies right now, and we're getting ready to get into number 10. It's going to be like a two-parter.
Number 10, part 2. I did see Fast 10 or Fast X part 1 in the theater alone. It was opening week, and it was me and one other person in the theater. So,
What was that magic like?
I mean, it's kind of the crescendo, or it's kind of like the pinnacle of this whole discussion. But man, was I laughing hard? I must say.
I'm amazed at this thing has lasted for over 2 decades now.
Yeah.
And the franchise total has made over $6 billion.
Right. It's the franchise of my life.
But billion.
Yes.
It's
$1 billion.
It is nuts how much money this franchise has pulled in.
Yes, it is. And as we go through this, I could spend years. I could write actually an entire doctoral thesis, again, and I gladly would, about how this film franchise is not only a representation of basically Hollywood action films hitting their pinnacle and decline, and also the mental state of Vin Diesel. And I'm happy to touch on both of those as we continue working through this.
All right, let's just dive right in then. So we're going to start out in 2001 with the Fast and the Furious. This movie goes on to get $207 million at the box office. Hell of a way to come out the gate, dude.
It is, and I don't know if they were expecting it to be that big.
It was huge.
It was a really big deal. And then, like I said, I was on the non-internet side of this, but this actually coming out in 2001 did have a massive, like, first wave internet forum, probably earliest version of social media, cultural component to it. Because this came out, and then, I was 10, so I'm reading magazines. There were people that were 20 when this came out, got as into it, and then they're fucking digging through, like, import racer forum. Where are we meeting up this weekend? What part should I do this? Hey, do you have advice for when this thing breaks that I shouldn't have put on my car? So, like, it is a huge thing, it turns out.
Yeah, gigantic culture shift,
right,
in terms of people finding out about this style of like racing in these cars.
Yeah.
Quick synopsis: Dom, who is Vin Diesel, Dominic Toretto, he and his crew are suspected of hijacking trucks for valuable electronic equipment, and by valuable electronic equipment, I mean DVD players,
DVD and VHS players that you see on the boxes in the opening scenes of it. And yes, it is absolutely hilarious that was the basis of the movie. And it kind of got funnier, until the last few years, where, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, I went on Amazon and I was like, can you even buy a VHS player?
Yes.
You can. It's like $500.
Yes.
Now. So actually, it would be more valuable for them to do that today than it was for the 15 years following it.
Exactly. Yeah. Now you do. Yeah. This opening scene now goes through multiple things where you first see it, you're like, this is cutting edge. And then 2011 hits and you're like, that's cute.
Stupidest thing.
Why didn't they just stream it?
Right.
And then now hits and it's like, yes,
Yeah.
retro everything. I just want the nostalgia and comfort of the 90s and the 2000s.
It's great. Yes. So this original movie, because of the event of me seeing it at that time, and then for a lot of other reasons, I would rate this one specifically to be my favorite movie of all time.
This is your new hope.
It is, exactly. And then later on, after 6 and 7, then it goes into episode 1. And everyone's just like, what the fuck is this stupid movie that they made?
I just love the fact that your Obi-Wan Kenobi is Vin Diesel.
You're damn right he is. Yeah. Actually, yeah, he is. And then, of course, Paul Walker is Luke Skywalker.
He's Luke.
Walker, Skywalker. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, everything's clicking now. It all makes sense. Yeah. Well, and you're right. The guy who is chasing Dom's crew down is Paul Walker. He plays Brian O'Connor.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So he's an undercover police detective. To prepare for this, I watched Fast 1 and Fast 10, which I didn't have time to finish again, so I've only seen it 1.5 times.
How much character growth have we seen between these two films?
That's the point. That's the entire point. Just every single thing about the movie. Because in the first movie, Vin Diesel is actually a normal human being.
Yes.
It's crazy. He's just a guy that clearly was lifting some weights.
Yeah.
But other than that, he was just a whatever actor, and some of his lines were over dramatic. Other than that, he's not a bad actor in this movie. Like, when he like breaks up the street fight, when he's talking with people, he's not going to win an Academy Award, but he actually personifies a normal human.
Yeah, and he was also in some other stuff at that time, like Pitch Dark or Pitch Black. That was
All
like the
of-
sci-fi series that he was pretty good in. I think,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure he was in like Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
like towards the beginning.
He was like on track to just be an average actor, and then like that would have been fine. He would have made some movies and then done whatever.
He would have been that guy that showed up in like sci-fi movies or action movies. You're like, oh shit, this dude's in it,
Right.
but you wouldn't really know his name.
Right. Paul Walker, meanwhile, was just flatline all the way through. He was just Paul Walker, just a normal, cool guy. Whole movie, whole series. And in this movie, one of my favorite things about it is I just have like a huge aversion to CGI, especially when they're trying to like pretend that this is real or like there's not a massive disconnect. Maybe 5% of the first movie in total is CGI. All the stunts are real. They really had a guy jump from the roof of a Honda Civic onto the hood of a semi, moving 30 miles an hour. They really drove the cars under it. And in the final scene of the movie, which you pinnacled as the highlight in terms of action, they really did take a Dodge Charger from the 60s, drive it up a pipe rail, and smash it into the front of a semi before having it barrel roll and hit down the street.
Incredible. Like
It's
so good. Like just if you
It's
want
so
like
good.
practical effects, you want action, it's here.
Yes, I think it might be one of like the peak movies for practical effects. One of the only real car movies that I've seen since then that did a better job was Baby Driver. And I love that movie specifically because they did a shitload of real car scenes on public streets. They shut down half of Atlanta for a few days to film it. And they also invented like camera mounting equipment for that movie. They made like this weird like orb that goes on the front of a motorcycle so that they could do the scene through the park. They did crazy shit so like I have a weird fascination with that. But in general, I hate CGI. I love the fact that they had some idiot jump off a car onto a truck for this and really suspend himself with a cable from the side of it.
100% agree. I'm with you. I'm not a CGI guy. I'm down with CGI if we're going to do a thing where it's like, hey, we need to have like 100 spaceships going through an asteroid field. It's like, okay, cool, CGI it.
Is that, or, it's Avatar, I'm watching a cartoon.
Right.
Whatever.
Sure.
But like, I mean, we'll get into this further. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, this movie seemed like if I really wanted to make it, I could.
Yeah.
With $20 million, I could make this happen.
And to go back real quick, what you were saying just there about like just the driving, the practical effects, like it is one of those things where like when you see it you have to appreciate it because I'm like, I drive every day. I could not do what these guys are doing. And also just the danger involved with it where it's like, hey, we need you to like come around a corner doing 60 and like fishtail it.
Well, that's like a weird thing that I also try to tie into my show, Cool Showman. Like, I try to make that as dangerous as I can without just hurting someone. So that's why I have like 1,000 PSI CO2 tank behind me and a cryogenic cannon that I could just point at someone and like ruin their life. Or like this joke is funnier in my head, but one time I filled a piñata with a bunch of expired batteries and just had them like beat that open over and like it was funnier in my head. It didn't work in the room, but like you get it.
I mean, right there explaining it.
Yeah. So I mean, like, there's just I like an element of danger in shit, and that's part of the reason that I still watch that movie this week. And that opening scene where they're driving around 3 Honda Civics with neon green under them for no reason at all. I just love it.
It's great. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Two other people we got to talk about here real quick. Mia Toretto, who is Jordan Brewster. So this is Dom's sister, who of course Paul Walker, Brian O'Connor falls in love with, and then Letty Ortiz. Letty is Michelle Rodriguez, who is Dom's girlfriend.
Right. Yes. I think Mia is given the least consequential lines in almost every movie in the entire film, which, shame on Hollywood. But she has been in every movie. And as the series goes on after the unfortunate passing of Paul Walker, they keep alluding to the fact that he's still alive, which we can talk about more later. But it's one of the most baffling things.
Yeah.
Not only in the movie, but in my entire life. And then Michelle Rodriguez, who captured my heart when I was 10 years old and still holds hostage on that as the time goes. One of my favorite pieces of trivia about her is that she has dated both Zac Efron and Cara Delevingne. She has dated what some people consider to be the most attractive members of what was formerly two genders. So, I mean, really, her life is weirdly interesting. And also, I think she's one of the top grossing female action stars of all time because she was in this $6 billion franchise and Avatar and like 3 other things that are all $1 billion movies.
Yeah, she's got this thing where she gets typecast as a badass, which is not a bad thing to get typecast as.
Yeah, she's just a scary lady.
Yeah, they're like, look, we need a really scary lady for this movie. We'll get Michelle Rodriguez on the phone. See what she's doing.
Her lines have been the most ridiculous start to finish throughout the entire. Vin Diesel kind of caught up to her in how weird her dialogue is, and you kind of just have to watch it to experience it.
Can we talk about the fact that in this movie they go to a competition called Race Wars?
Race Wars,
bro.
Yeah,
this
cool.
is again 2001.
2001. Maybe a little tongue-in-cheek, maybe not. I don't know. It's called Race Wars. The idea was that it was just a drag race out in the desert, and it turns out that actually kind of does exist as a result of this.
Oh, really?
I think so. I remember there was a story like years ago. Someone's kid passed away because he was street racing, so the parents set up an annual thing where they go to what is basically that track, and then do that thing. But yes, it was called Race Wars, and yes, that is funny.
Yeah. When I got that, I was like, 2001, that could happen. Yeah. And yeah,
especially when the villains of the film are clearly a different race.
Again, 2001.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, they got it.
Yeah, unlike now, we're like in Top Gun 2, they're like, we can't tell you who the bad guys are or what country they're from, but just they're bad.
You get it.
You get it. Just Tom Cruise is gonna go do his thing.
Well, at the time, they were like, yeah, this is diversity. we got Asian actors. We got a full representation of the population of Los Angeles. What could be wrong with this?
Yeah, guys, we're DEI.
It's great.
You don't even know what that means yet.
Yeah, exactly. They were ahead of the curve.
So, of course, the big breakdown of this finally comes down to as Paul Walker is trying to infiltrate the family. Right. He finally does. Him and Dom end up, what is it at the end? Like, he could arrest him, but he doesn't. And then they race for it, which you talked about.
They have a final race, which they didn't really say why. It just seemed like the thing to do. He had just killed Johnny Tran.
Yeah.
And, his friend had just died, and he decided... He pulls up and famously says, I used to drag here in high school. From here to the tracks is a quarter mile away. On green, I'm going for it. And then he pops a wheelie in a Charger without a wheelie bar, but it just goes perfectly straight. And you don't have to worry about that. Okay? It just happened, and that's okay. And then, yes, Dom crashes in a tremendous way. And then Brian sacrifices his career by giving him the keys to his car, and he drives away. It's a great film.
And you think that could be the end of it, but it's not. This is only the beginning.
Turns out this is only the beginning.
Anything else you want to say about this before we move on to the sequel?
No, I'm happy to move on to the sequel.
Well, let's do this. Too Fast, Too Furious. It comes out in 2003 because, hey, guess what? After making $200 million on a film, we're going to definitely do a sequel. This one makes $236 million.
It does. And since you mentioned sequels, and since you mentioned Vin Diesel, you may notice that he's decidedly absent from this film.
Gone.
Do you know why?
No, why did Vin Diesel say I can't do the sequel to this movie?
Because someone sat down with Vin Diesel after the first one came out and said something along the lines of, sequels are for losers. And Vin Diesel believed him. So at that point, he had done Fast and Furious, and I think Triple X came out like the next year.
I remember, and he opted out of
which
that.
was another incredibly stupid big action movie, which he was the star of.
Yes.
And they both offered him sequels. He turned them down because someone said that to him. So he just said, "Okay, I won't do it."
That someone was definitely an Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone.
Some kind of, which I would love to talk about how Vin Diesel, I believe, has developed something that I have called Sylvester Stallone syndrome. Meaning that he produced a series of hits early, and then everything he did got worse, but it kept making money, so everyone encouraged him to keep doing it.
And he got Triple S from that.
Now Vin Diesel, I don't even know if he technically qualifies as a person.
No, I don't know where the line between Vin Diesel and Dom is anymore.
Vin Diesel, birth name Mark Sinclair.
Oh man, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, that's true. I mean, come on. I
Right.
mean, how many Diesels do you know?
But Vin isn't part of his name at all.
No.
He's just decided that was it.
Yeah.
Very mysterious, man. Does very few interviews. Has like pretty much total production and writing power over the franchise now. And you can see how it just keeps dipping into insanity with him as these new movies keep coming out.
Do you think he's gonna like have a full on Kanye break, or do you think he's gonna?
I think he's too quiet to do it, but he is insane. Have you ever seen his music videos?
No.
Years ago, he decided that he could sing, and he put out at least one, if not several songs and a music video for it. It's going to blow your goddamn mind.
God, I love it when actors want to become musicians.
He's such an interesting and such a strange man. I'm looking forward to his biopic. So Vin Diesel was out because someone made an offhand comment to him saying, "That's for losers." Okay. Paul Walker says, "I'll do it."
Yeah, Paul Walker's like, yeah.
Paul
I got
Walker
no problem
says,
with this.
"I'm in my late 20s. I'll take whatever millions of dollars you give me to star in this other film."
Can I keep a car?
Exactly. And also, it turns out Paul Walker, because of these films, becomes a huge car guy, ends up buying several Skylines, and then all of these other things. Decides to do the movie. They take it to Miami because it's a sequel, baby.
Yep.
We got to take it to Miami. There is a bonus feature in one of the DVDs called, I can't remember what it's called, like The Path to Furious or something. Basically, it fills in, it's like a 10-minute thing. It fills in the gap between LA and Miami.
Okay.
Shows him driving across the country, evading the law. So, for anyone that was curious, it's out there. And then, he shows up in Florida. They introduce the Nissan Skyline, which this is the last film where the cars are really tied to the characters. There was like a very long, huge multi-person boardroom discussion for the first movie of which character should drive which car and why. Mm-hmm. Really, they hammered out all the details. I follow this guy on Instagram named Craig Lieberman. He was like the automotive director for the movie. And he is also a crazy person because 20 years later, he goes on Instagram and talks about this movie every goddamn day.
Awesome.
Yeah. There are people that are like, I'm in like the top 10% of like normalcy for this. There are people that are like,
They're even
fucking, this is real. Like,
they're even further down the rabbit hole.
like, this is their life. The only thing that, like, they think Dominic Toretto is a real person.
I totally get with why they would go so hard though in the first few films as far as the idea of like, hey, which character is with this vehicle? Because the car becomes a representation of them and then the car. Like they're it's kind of like having a mech in like a sci-fi movie.
Right. They had like a serious discussion and then they were like, they really like they like purchased cars, and they're like, well, you should do it. And then they're like, no, put that away. And then it's just sitting in a warehouse somewhere. There's crazy shit like that. They go to Florida, introduce Ludacris, of course.
Ludacris, who goes on. Ludacris becomes many things in these movies.
All of these people continue to morph.
They keep building their skill set.
Right. Ludacris is introduced in this film as the owner of a mechanic shop that also is a gambler, and that's it.
Sure. Which it's like, okay,
Just a guy.
That tracks.
Yeah, a Florida guy owns a
garage.
hosts race.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, that's fine.
Tracks.
You also have Steve Aoki's sister thrown in there because you want to throw in a little bit of nepotism. You got to make sure that she's in there because her father started Benihana. So let's go ahead and toss her in. And then eventually they introduced Tyrese Gibson to replace Vin Diesel.
Right.
Because basically he's the same body type and also bold.
Yes.
Tyrese Gibson is actually sincerely funny in this movie.
He is.
And also, I will state, plays basically a normal person. From 4 or 5 on, he is essentially an intellectually disabled character. Every line that he has in this movie looks like he should have a caretaker with him throughout the duration of the movie. And they kind of just keep doing that. It's actually a little weird how far they go to make sure hey, this guy is a fucking idiot. But yeah, you just play as a normal person, and then the plot of the movie was basically Paul Walker. This is the first case of, okay, now you're an ex-cop. In order to clear your name, we're going to have to send you undercover.
Got to go undercover.
And it's not that crazy. The only weird technology thing they have in this is they have this fake device that they shoot at cars, and then it shuts down all the electrical system.
Right.
Other than that, it's almost believable. This is the beginning of using bad 2003 CGI.
Yes.
They do have his car fly over a bridge. It could not look any more like a scene from Need for Speed 2 Underground. And I don't know. Everything else about this, they do have some real car scenes that are actually appealing.
The things I always remember about this one is I remember the ejector seats.
That is also the ushering in as using nitrous oxide as an absurd prop. And that continues more and more crescendoing in Fast 9.
Fast and Furious 1 taught me that whoever has the most nitrous wins.
Yes.
That's what I was taught from that.
Has to be the case.
Yes. And then in 2, the scene where they split up Tyrese, they split up Paul Walker, they're in separate cars, and then Ludacris has rigged the passenger seats. If you hit a button, they will eject, and they blow both their bad guys out of the car.
Using nitrous as the propellant.
Yes.
Of course. Yes. This is where they start to drift away from what could really happen.
Also, ramping your car into a boat.
I think that's great. It is the ending scene of the movie. Like, they do catch the bad guy by perfectly aligning their Yanko Camaro to launch off a mysterious boat ramp into a yacht. And it's great. We all saw it happening. Because they announced it. Tyrese Gibson says car, boat, in a humorous way, and then they do. It's great.
I worry about the friendly fire aspect of this. Like, what if the person they're holding hostage is down underneath? Like, what happens if you just, like, put a car directly through the hole of the boat?
He knew what he was doing.
Okay, fair enough.
I knew exactly what was happening. They do also actually get hurt. When they do actually... like demonstrate, hey, we just hit an object with a car. We are injured. So that's good.
I just ate an airbag. It sucked.
That's almost pretty much the end of that ever happening for the rest of the franchise. Eva Mendes is in it. And actually, there was something that I just realized as I was thinking about this on the drive over. They have a scene in this movie that they do in a few other ones. It's this weird thing where they have an overly graphic or an unnecessarily harsh torture scene by the villain.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it started in Fast 1 with Tran and his cousin waterboarding their mechanic with a tank of oil.
Ugh.
And then in this one, they do the rat bucket thing.
Oh.
And the guys, it's really like actually hard to watch.
Yeah.
And then they do it a few more times in the franchise, but I don't know why that was like a theme that they kept doing.
Like maybe it's like, hey man, it's really high stakes. Like
I think just like I don't know if one had the same director as two. Or I don't know if like the scriptwriter is like, we need to have this thing to like show how much of a villain this person is. I don't get it, but it's a weird theme that they carry throughout a few more of the movies. So that's just a weird part of it. But overall, it's not a complete cartoon of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, we're going to get this guy. They have Carl from Family Matters back in it again.
always good.
As the chief. They have a few jokes at him. And then basically, they use their cars to save the day. And overall, it's not that bad of a movie.
All right, so let's move on from there
Right.
to number 3, The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Here, okay, $158 million.
Less money. I think at the time they build it it's one of the most confusing moves in Hollywood.
It gets really
In
weird
anything.
here because like they want to be like an anthology series or something. Like it gets very Halloween 3 where it's like, hey,
Yeah,
remember
it's-
how the first 2 movies had Michael Myers? This one doesn't. And you're just kind of like, wait, there's no Vin Diesel, there's no Paul Walker. It's in Japan. What the fuck is happening?
It has none of the original actors, except for one like post-credit thing. Vin Diesel shows up realizing that he needs to make money. So he appears for literally 3 seconds at the very end of it. But none of the original actors. In fact, it has some of the worst actors in any movie of all time, including Lil Bow Wow,
Yes.
who plays a character named Twinkie.
Yes.
So if anyone...
Those are two terrible, both bad aliases. Bow Wow, bad alias. Twinkie,
Right.
bad alias.
If anyone can explain to me why that happened, I would listen to them for as long as it took for me to understand.
It was 2006.
It was 2006, weird time. The stock market was still all right. Did you see this movie?
I've seen bits and pieces
It's
of it.
one of the, it's my least favorite of all of them.
Yeah.
I still, even though other ones are worse, I think this is the worst movie of it. The opening scene does feature Zach from Home Improvement, and that's the only movie I've ever seen him in. And he's basically just playing himself. And then the rest of the movie is impossible. Every single second of dialogue is bad. I don't know if the main actor is doing a fake Southern accent or he actually sounds like that. It's crazy. Lil Bow Wow is a main person. And then weirdly, the only person in it that becomes a main cast member is a character named Han,
Yes.
who they don't reveal until the credits. His full name is Han Solo.
No.
Yes, but it's spelled, because he's a Korean actor, it's spelled like SEOUL-OH.
Perfect.
And they never mention it once. Not in any of the other films did they mention it until the credit scenes, and then they just kind of sneak
He's just
that in.
Han.
Yes. They only call him Han.
Hell yeah. This movie also incorporates a Hollywood trope of you take an American white guy, you take him to Japan.
Right.
The first time he gets in a fight or a competition or anything, he gets completely destroyed.
Right.
And then, he hangs out for a little bit. There's some montages. He learns the way of the land. And then boom, now he's fucking up every Japanese dude and whatever thing
Yes.
he enters into.
Exactly.
And that is this movie with the Tokyo Drift, where like
Right.
for some reason the guy from the South Kid is really good at going straight, but he's not good at making turns. And then once he learns the Tokyo Drift, now he is the king.
The fact that this movie got made is so wildly confusing to me. I kind of have to trick myself into remembering that it's real.
Yeah.
The only highlight of the movie is that it's the first one that was directed by Justin Lin, who is credited with actually turning them back into car movies again when he was working on them for a few more past that. It also features the most insane movie-made song I've probably ever heard. I think it's just called Fast and Furious, but it features what are supposed to be Japanese women, but I'm not sure if they are.
Again, it's 2006. You got the Harajuku girls hanging out with Gwen Stefani. It's not a great time.
It could have literally just been me on a microphone and then like sped up Alvin and the Chipmunk style. And then like, it's one of the most annoying songs that's ever been made, but you have to hear it.
I don't want to, but I do need to.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
All right.
We'll check it out after the show.
Well, look, man, here's how I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling like very concerned about this. This feels like a franchise that's like in flux, and
Right.
this movie like just made nowhere near what the sequel made.
I was certain it was over.
And it's a dog shit
It's
thing happening. Like
so
we
bad.
are headed straight towards direct to DVD land right now. Like there's no way this thing's getting a sequel.
Right.
And then it gets in
By some miracle.
somehow, some way, in 2009, we get a reboot of Fast and Furious. This goes on to make $363 million.
Right. Now, I've been developing a theory that this should have been the actual last movie.
Okay.
And they should have considered this a trilogy and excluded Tokyo Drift.
3.
And had they done that, it would have made perfect sense because it realigns the relationship between Brian and Mia. Dom and Brian have a huge fight, including a giant action fist fight where they almost kill each other, and then they resume their friendship. They do kill the villain that kills Letty, and they ultimately end the movie by Dom being sent back to Lompoc, where he said, quote, "I'll die before I go back." And then the credit scene is them breaking him out of the bus. So that should have been it. Probably my second favorite movie behind the original, because it basically ties everything up. They bring a lot of people back. It opens with an insane truck hijacking scene. They steal a gasoline, a multi-tank gasoline truck, which
Yes.
I'm pretty sure doesn't exist
No.
anywhere in reality, that's driving over a mountain.
Yes.
It explodes. Dom is driving a GSX, upon it, which like that's actually one of the coolest cars they ever had in any of those movies. And yeah, this should have, in the actual canon of the movies, this should have been it.
Yeah, I agree. And it does seem like the way to cap it off,
Yeah.
as you said. But this also does kind of start to get into like the weird, I don't know if I want to say paranormal or super heroic things that we're going to see in the future, where there's like that scene where Dom's trying to figure out the car wreck, what happened to Letty. And then like he sees like Batman detective vision of the wreck.
Sees basically like a ghost version of that. Brian is back with the FBI, so he's actually fixed his life somehow. I mean, like, it's just a great tie-in to pretty much all of this. And then right up to the very end of the trial, he's there with law enforcement trying to save his friend to his job. And then finally they just say, fuck it, at the very end.
Yeah.
And then smash a perfect NSX into the front of a bus. But, what are you going to do?
So for you at this point, like, does it become a thing where it's just like, okay, we could just end it here. It hits the whole thing with family in terms of like, yet again, Brian has chose to side with his friends and family above anybody else.
I had no indication whatsoever that there was going to be another one. I remember just being like, I remember walking out being like, this is good. Like I love this. This was a perfect film franchise.
Well, 2 years later, 2011,
right?
Fast 5, $626 million, like more than double what was done before. Holy shit.
So this is where they start to get really greedy, because now they have hit the point where they realized if we invest more, we're going to get a higher return.
Yes.
And they make $600 million. Now you're making Batman money.
Yes.
Now you're in a Marvel franchise.
And exactly, it definitely has like a Marvel franchise vibe to it as far as like what the characters are able to expand into and do. And it's also interesting because, like, you know, when you think about it, it's kind of like you got, you know, Vin Diesel and Paul Walker and Michelle Rodriguez, like kind of on their rookie contracts, where like they were already tied into the series, and now you can just start bringing in other big people to play set pieces and watch them bounce off of them and see what happens.
Of course, the greatest example of that is the introduction of The Rock, who I believe has been famously described as, quote, Viagra for the box office. What he is in, especially, what was this, like 2000, what do you say,
2011.
2011?
Yeah.
I mean, he could not be bigger at this point. If he's in something, people all over the world are going to see it. And they put him in at the perfect time, and then $500 million later, here he is.
It's so crazy watching his career go from like pro wrestling to acting. And then when he originally started out in acting, he was like a very small guy. Like he was trying not to be the big bulky dude.
Right.
And he was trying to, like, you know, because it was the same thing Schwarzenegger ran into when like he was trying to act originally before the action movie of the 80s, back in the 70s. They're like, look, we can't put you in movies with like Al Pacino or normal looking people because you're going to stick out.
Because you don't fit in a shirt.
Yeah, like,
there's no shirt with sleeves that exist for you yet.
Yeah, no, we can't have you be like in Dog Day Afternoon and you know, talking to people, because you're just everybody's just gonna be staring at you constantly.
Exactly.
And so initially, when Rock came over from WWE, he tried to scale down, and then at some point, somebody apparently had the conversation, was like, dude, just put on mask and be this
put on mask,
gigantic action
be
star.
a cop.
Yeah,
which he is in 90% of movies now.
He's the same thing in every movie.
Right. No, he's just wearing a tactical vest, and in every single one of these movies, he drives some version of a bulletproof Hummer or similar thing.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he does in this. He's just, freak, doesn't actually exist, international cop, spy, whatever.
Yeah. He's current active duty military, or he's a vet, or he's a cop, or he's an FBI, whatever. Just what job do we have where The Rock can hold a gun? Just get him one of those.
And that's exactly what he does in this. The whole point of this movie is that he's trying to, capture Vin Diesel, because now Vin Diesel is an international criminal. And he's trying to take down his whole crew. Mess with his family. Big mistake.
Don't do that. You don't mess with the familia.
They get in a series of fights and an incredible fist fight in which Vin Diesel almost kills The Rock with a giant pipe wrench. Now, one of the all-time greatest pieces of lore about Vin Diesel as a person is that allegedly, and to my knowledge this is true, he has it written into every single contract for every movie he has that he does not lose a fight in any movie.
What the?
Yeah. That's how fucking crazy this guy is.
Vin Diesel puts the Hulk Hogan clause in every movie. He's always wins.
Allegedly. And what they did for him and The Rock, because they're not going to have The Rock lose a fight with Vin Diesel, they have this thing where he just slams a wrench into the ground, calling back to Fast 1. Instead of killing him, they just decide the fight is over. So no one really loses and no one really wins. How crazy is that shit?
That is...
Yes.
That makes zero sense.
It makes zero sense unless you're Vin Diesel and you got this going through your brain. Whatever steroids have melted away his brain cells, he is living in that reality. So they introduced The Rock, and this is the point where they're like, hey, it's the it's 2010s. Iron Man makes $1 billion a year. We have to do our version of that. So reality is pretty much taken out at this point. Physics and what is possible are rapidly getting deleted. There is a scene where The Rock drives through a cement wall with a car, and there is not even a scratch on it. And then they hook 2 Dodge Chargers with winches up to what appears to be a 10-ton metal safe.
Yes.
And they drive that through the heart of Rio de Janeiro for about 15 minutes straight.
And just taking out ridiculous infrastructure the entire way.
Smashing it through buildings, crushing cars, breaking through concrete barriers, at which point never once does the braided cable towing this thing ever get broken or have any injury. Damaged, no issues. They're just driving two Dodge Chargers through the streets without any real concern, it turns out.
There's like the one part of that where they go to take the corner and Dom is like, we got to do it. And then Brian's like, no, we can't. And he's like, oh, too late. And then they take the corner and it's completely blast a bank vault through another bank. And you see people inside the bank like running in horror and screaming.
Right.
And we're just supposed to believe that they're totally cool.
They're totally cool. They do, $30 to $100 million in property damage. And everyone's just like, you know what? We're going to let it ride.
It's Brazil, man.
They then use that bank vault. Vin Diesel cuts Paul Walker loose because, he's got a kid, so family is important. And then drives that 10-ton bank vault by himself with that Dodge Charger and then does a handbrake turn and throws the vault into the villain, killing him. So, it's just not on Earth anymore.
Yeah.
The only thing that's still happening is they're still in cars, but they've also pretty much completely divorced the relationship between the cars and the characters.
Yes.
And then that continues further and further throughout the movie.
We also get in this with the bank vault where they, at the end, The Rock is like, look, The Rock is going to give you 24 hours to get your Rudy Poo candy asses out of Brazil.
Yeah.
And then The Rock's coming for you. And then Vin Diesel's like, okay. And then they get out. And before they leave, Rock's like, you can't take the money though. And they're like, okay. And then they leave. And then The Rock opens up the bank vault and there's nothing in there because they switched out the bank vault by going under an underpass for 10 seconds in which they dumped off the original bank vault into the back of a trash compactor truck.
Yeah.
And then they had a spare one waiting on the front on the hooks. And then they hooked that one up.
Yeah. It's no problem.
It's like a pit crew.
They got the gas. They used to steal DVD players, so I mean, this is just the next.
Yeah, that's the next level. It's it's basically a big Blu-ray. Yeah,
yeah, pretty much.
No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Also, with this, we get Ludacris not just a mechanic anymore, now a hacker.
Ludacris went from small business owner in Miami to computer genius that has no problem doing anything that could not possibly happen on a computer.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, he figures out how to open the safe. He has like this weird, like, transparent paper that he lays on top. And then he's like, be nice. And then puts his hand on it and boom, mystically the door opens and they're all now mega rich.
This is also the ushering in. This is the return of Tyrese, I believe. And this is the beginning of his decline into basically infancy in terms of thought capacity.
Do you think since Vin Diesel's got the book and he's writing this, do you think that he sees Tyrese as the guy who was meant to replace him and then therefore he's going to bury him as much as he can?
I haven't thought about that now, but now that's the only way I will think about this for the rest of these movies. You were meant to replace me, not so fast. No way that's not at least subconscious, if not completely conscious.
You will never wear the crown of Vin Diesel. You will forever be a bottom tier character compared to me.
I love this theory, and I'm going to carry that with me for the rest of the life. I believe they also had Han return in this movie.
Yes.
Now, this is very deep in the lore of it. I believe they allude to the fact, because Han keeps mentioning, hey, maybe I will move to Tokyo, that Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift takes place years in the future.
That is correct, sir.
Yeah.
Yep. And that is 100% correct.
Right.
Now we're in like a weird time jump.
It's a weird time jump, kind of. They just never really explain it. Which, like, if you consider the year of all the cars in Tokyo, it doesn't make any. But you know what? We're not going to worry about all that.
No.
You don't get into these films to worry about it.
No.
You get in to see nonstop action, and that's pretty much what you got.
You get it. You get in to see
Right.
fucking Gal Gadot and Han
Oh yeah,
former relationship.
Right.
Which having Wonder Woman in before she becomes Wonder Woman is also a weird thing now to look back on.
It is interesting because usually the new people that they bring in at this point are already megastars. They usually aren't giving chances to people, but I guess she was probably one of the last ones to kind of sneak in.
And finally, at the end of this movie, we find out that Letty's alive.
Yes, that's another post-credit thing, and that's the beginning of a new level of impossibility, which is she is the first of numerous characters to die and come back to life in Fast and Furious 6, which was really the turning point for me in this franchise.
Dude, Fast and Furious 6, 2013,
Right.
$789 million.
So they're still making more. So
oh
this
my God.
is what I was talking about before with Vin Diesel going into Stallone syndrome, because he has become the champion of these movies, and now he's becoming a producer, and now he's getting in the writing, and now he is of the mindset of, I'm taking more power in this. These are making more money. Everything I'm doing is right. That's how shit just keeps getting crazier and crazier.
This is his Rocky.
Fast 6 is just full Marvel.
Yes.
It starts with the villains, which have basically F1 cars that they custom built.
Yep.
That feature ramps.
Yes.
The bodies realign while they're driving so that they can drive into the police, and then the police flip over and explode.
Yeah, it's the thing from Batman, where,
Exactly,
where you can take the Batmobile and like make the ramps out of it.
Exactly. The front of the car just turns into a ramp. So the cars aren't even real anymore.
Yeah.
It's not even like, oh, this character has this, because it's literally now we're not even driving cars.
We're in Mad Max land. We're custom building shit.
It's the opening scene has, when they introduced the villains and that, for some reason, it must have been like a branding deal with BMW, because they just absolutely vaporized like 6 M5s for no reason. Like, there's no reason that would have had anything to do with anything except for the fact that BMW was like, hey, your last movie made $500 million. We want you to drive these cars.
Yes, please.
There's a lot about this movie. There was a very specific scene in this film where they break into the villain's lair, which now also every villain is a top psyop, anti-government terrorist spy or something that could not even possibly.
We're beyond drug cartels. We're so far beyond cartels.
Everything is just international conspiracy, insane, has to have some cyber component and some either nuclear or similar. This entire movie, I think they're trying to get like nuclear codes or warheads or some shit like that. There is a scene in this movie where they break into the villain's lair, and then they're driving back on a bridge. The villain now has a tank because that's a reasonable part of the plot. And there was a scene where I can't remember if it was Letty or someone. 2 cars collide at nearly 100 miles per hour. And Letty jumps off from one of the cars during this collision.
Yeah.
Flies 200 feet.
Yeah.
And then Dom just has her land on the hood of her car.
Yeah.
If you fly 200 feet and you hit a piece of metal,
Yeah, you're fine.
your skin is going to explode off from your body. But now they have just gone into pure fantasy. Now it's at the point where I remember seeing that, and she hits the hood and he grabs her arm. And I remember being at the Latches Theater in Brattleboro, Vermont, and saying out loud, "Oh, fuck you." And that was the point in this entire franchise where I decided I want to see how bad these can get.
Where is this going?
I knew, because I have seen every one of these in the theater. I'm going to do that for as long as theaters and myself exist. I was like, I want to see how bad this can get. And they have delivered.
Yeah,
this
this one is like the jumping of the shark of it, because like
Yeah.
the one before it was like with the whole thing with how fantastical the safe was. I mean, that was wild, but yes,
Yeah,
in this,
but it was still just a chunk of steel.
Yeah.
Now they are in, okay, well, physics are irrelevant.
yeah,
Characters are dying and coming back to life. So
Yes.
it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
Or if you die, because you are not dead until Vin Diesel decides you are.
yeah.
Is this also? No, it's the next movie where they introduce even more people.
Furious 7 in 2015. Oh wait, no, wait, hold on.
Right.
We still got to talk about this. So the over the top sequence at the end, the whole runway battle with the cargo plane,
Yes.
dude.
When that came out, because this is such a big movie, someone did them, and it was just like a meme or some shit. They're like, let's say that plane was moving at the absolute minimum speed it would need to go in order for it to take off. It was like, you need a runway something like 50 miles. It was just because of the length. It's like a 10-minute scene. It doesn't make any sense at all.
No.
It was like, yeah, it's let's not even worry about the fact that they're using cars that are shooting grappling hooks to take down a plane. Just there's no runway like this on Earth that could allow this to happen. But yes, they do take down something that appears to be about the size of the Spruce Goose
Yeah.
plane, with one of them was like a Fiat or something like.
It makes no sense, but it's fun. I'm a sucker for if you give me a thing where like if you give me Road Warrior 2 where you have a bunch of cars trying to take down one big thing, I'm in.
Sure.
I'm invested.
And I mean, like, let's just totally ignore the fact that if you put one Hummer into the wheels of that plane, everything would have come to a grinding halt within 3 seconds. But no, using automated spear guns hooked up to the car while Vin Diesel is fist fighting his way through an entire group of armed villains. Yeah, just let it ride.
You wanted practical, Vin Diesel wanted pageantry, and that's why he's making all that money.
We're coming up on $1 billion now.
We are.
So
We are.
yeah. So they introduced. The Rock was already in this. They brought him back from Fast 5. Gal Gadot is back in this. They didn't really introduce anyone too huge in this, but that was actually in Fast 7.
Well, and also Gal Gadot dies in this one.
She does.
But is she dead? Question mark. Especially now that she's Wonder Woman. Like,
I can't say with certainty that she does not come back again. In fact,
it just feels like
actually, no, I know for a fact that she comes back again.
she's got to come back, right?
I got good news.
Okay, fair.
They made more movies. And then I don't remember much else. I just remember I remember specifically that scene where she lands on the hood and is not a human pancake. I was like, oh, so nothing matters anymore.
Fast 7, 2015, $1.5 billion.
Yes. So this is the peak of financial success of all of these films. And I can guarantee it will be. Although we all thought it was over with Tokyo Drift, so who knows?
Who knows?
But now they don't make movies that have anything to do with the canon of this. Like, the plot is now irrelevant. Anything that happens in the movie is irrelevant. Live or die, win, lose, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is we have these actors and we are making a movie that we can sell anywhere in the world because this movie needs to be able to be translated into 60 different languages and make money.
Yes.
And that's the only thing that is concerning.
We're not worried about dialogue.
And how are we going to make more money? We're going to bring in more global superstars, including Jason Statham.
I mean, if you got an action movie, you got to get Statham at some point.
You already have Vin Diesel. you had The Rock. I'm not sure if they had their public falling out yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say the only person that sells more dog shit action movies than these two is Jason Statham.
Yeah, I love that Statham started out as a real actor in like Snatch,
Right.
But then at some point he just leaned into being like a British guy who drives around and gets you things.
Yeah.
And that's just every movie. He's just like I'm picking up, or he's picking up somebody, or
Right.
he's picking up a package, or he's defending a kid.
Right.
But he's the same fucking guy in every movie.
Right. Or he needs to keep his heart rate above a certain point or he'll die.
That was fun. Crank was good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad they made a couple of those. But yeah, I mean, this is now, the movie itself is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is how much money can we possibly make?
And what stupid shit can we do that's
Exactly.
going to be loud and bright, and your eyes are going to go, "What the fuck was that?"
So, I mean, there was a plot to it. I honestly vaguely remember it. Jason Statham is supposed to play the villain of Fast Six's brother, which makes no sense other than the fact that they're both, I think, English.
Yes,
But
that's all you need.
other than that, it's literally the only thing you need.
Yeah, lime and white guys, we're good.
And then Vin Diesel mysteriously turns his back on everyone in the film.
Which that seems like a very big character change for a man who's all about family, and for a man to leave his family.
Right.
I mean, that's a huge change.
It does. And then what the hell?
Oh, we also get the government agent of Mr. Nobody, which is Kurt Russell.
You get Kurt Russell in it, and then they introduce Mr. Nobody, and then basically they decide that there is a cyber component to the film that makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's a software called God's Eye, which is apparently the world's greatest tracking device, and apparently it holds the power to basically overrule the entire world.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make, basically, instead of VHS players, it's now this thing called God's Eye that they're all after. And Kurt Russell plays like a tongue-in-cheek idiot, mysterious black ops government high-level supervisor. And I think Vin Diesel might have started writing on this because they take their product placement of his famous Corona beers and try to make this weird ongoing joke about how Mr. Nobody likes Belgian beers. And it's the stupidest thing. It's so dumb, it's frustrating. And I don't know why they decided to include it, and it just keeps going throughout the rest of the series.
Okay, I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. I honestly, is Fast 7 the one with the submarine?
I don't know. Well, you're looking at it. I'm going to vamp about Kurt Russell for a minute and talk
Right.
about, you can put Kurt Russell in anything, I'm going to watch it. Like, I love old school Kurt Russell from, the John Carpenter films, be it like The Thing or Big Trouble in Little China, or even something like Overboard with like fucking Goldie Hawn I'll watch. Like, Kurt Russell is always fun no matter what he's in. And I even liked him on, that was it Monarch, the show on Apple about Godzilla that wasn't that great.
I can't even imagine a reality in which I would sit down and watch Apple TV at this point. Like, I'm so overwhelmed with how much shit is out there.
And
I'm sure it's good. but
it's a world where Kurt Russell and Durs from fucking Workaholics are on a show together.
Anders,
Yeah.
is on a show with Kurt Russell about Godzilla.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude.
What is going on?
That's a question we'll ask ourselves.
Everyone, I saw a Deadline like 2 weeks ago. They're just like, this is the economic death of Hollywood, and it's like, fine, like, yeah, that's okay.
It's not hurt anything.
I mean, honestly, the only thing I remember about this movie is basically Jason Statham tries to kill Dom.
Yeah. The big takeaways I got from this one are we get Han getting T-boned by Statham and gets in.
It's revealed.
Yes.
Okay, so that's how they did the time warp. It's revealed that Tokyo Drift must have taken place sometime between 6 and 7.
Yep.
And I think Han is also now presumed dead because it shows Jason Statham shooting him in the opening scene of this movie.
Yes.
All right. I remember that. And remember, Han is dead for now. Wink,
Yeah,
wink.
wink. We also get the tribute to Paul Walker at the end of this thing,
Yes.
which is a nice way to end things.
Right. So he did die before this film came out. And I believe this was somewhere in early AI. And I believe the word was that they had his brother go out and film stuff. And then they CGI'd Paul's face onto his brother. I did see this in a movie theater in Florida. And I wasn't audibly sobbing, but I was crying listening to a Wiz Khalifa song as this scene played out in the movie. So I'll just put that out there.
Take that for what it is.
Just, I had a lot of respect for Paul, and tragically he died. And then they put like a really moving, sad thing. To Vin Diesel's credit, they actually did end it in like a weirdly respectful way. Now, what is so fucked up is that for the next 3 movies, they keep alluding to the fact that actually he's alive. He's just watching his kids.
Yes.
It's really weird.
Which is weird.
It's really, really weird. At the end of Fate of the Furious, F number 8 of the Furious, they show his car pulling into his driveway. And it's like, why are you doing this?
Don't do this.
It's so weird.
Please don't do this. They're gonna do this.
So I mean, we might as well just get into Fate of the Furious at this point. I just remember.
Oh,
they get into like a huge shootout in a warehouse, I guess, and then Mr. Nobody gets shot, I think, and then
this one also has the skydiving car scene where Dom, Brian, and the team parachute their cars out of a cargo plane to intercept a convoy on a mountain road.
Yes, they intercept it. It's number 1. They're parachuting full-size cars.
I mean, that's where we're at now. We're parachuting cars out of planes.
And then they land the cars perfectly and then just start driving them. There's no issue whatsoever.
No,
And then they take over a tactical bus.
Yeah.
And then the bus goes over a cliff, and then they pretty much just reenact the scene from Jurassic Park 2, where they have to crawl out of the bus as it's falling over a cliff.
Yeah.
And then they like try to get Shaw, and then that's pretty much it, I guess. I don't like at this point the plots matter. Point is the plots matter less and less and less as it goes on.
Again, this is just like a Marvel movie where it's like, look, the big things are the big set pieces that happen at the end that show you what ties these in together. Yeah. But as far as the action stuff in between, you're here for it, but you don't really need to remember any of this. Like it happens.
Right. And I've decided at this point I'm gonna see them all. I want to see how bad they can get, and Fate of the Furious did deliver.
Fate of the Furious comes at us in 2017, $1.2 billion for this thing.
Right. So not as much as the last one.
No.
But it's still $1 billion movie. Everyone's doing fine. They're going to sell this shit all over the world. This is the introduction of Charlize Theron. Who is a woman, I believe she has basically cornrows in this movie.
She does.
She is a white woman with cornrows in 2017. I know she's South African, but still, it's a very, very interesting look. She is a global cyber terrorist, has an infinite amount of money, and can apparently find anyone for any reason.
I like that Charlize Theron will like show up in stuff that gets nominated for Oscars, and then she'll do shit like this.
Also, will just catch a check for this. She has one of the weirdest scenes in this entire franchise, which this goes back to the villain doing something that's just way over the line. She captures Dom's, I don't know if it was his wife or something or what, locks the wife and Dom's child into a room and then has him pick which one of them gets shot and then just graphically murders his wife in front of him. And it's like it's not like gory, but like it's just such an unnecessarily like harsh and terrible thing to add into the movie. It's super dark. It comes out of nowhere, and it's just like really fucked up.
Yeah, well, and the whole thing with this is it's like, look, we got it because Letty's coming back, so Dom can't date Letty if he's got a good wife.
I guess that's why they did it. And then like there's this weird thing from this point on in the rest of the franchise where it's just like they dedicate maybe 30 seconds total to it in each movie, but they're just like, yeah, Letty's really struggling to fill the role of a stepmother. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, why is this a thing? But just like, she is like a really intense, unnecessary villain. They're the movie takes place in like 9 different locations.
Yes.
All over the world.
Yeah.
Is this the one in Abu Dhabi, or is that?
This is one of the ones where like we first see like Hobbs and Shaw working together some.
Right.
Like that becomes a thing where before enemies now forced to work together.
Right.
But yeah.
Again, continuing the theme of, okay, former criminal now has to work with law enforcement, even though
Right.
makes no sense. It's all in a fantasy world. I think this might be the one where they're in Abu Dhabi for one scene. They're trying to steal a chip out of a car, and they do that by driving it out of one of the tallest buildings in Abu Dhabi of a skyscraper into another one.
Yes. Yeah.
Vin Diesel also lifts the car. No, it had to be Fast 7 because Paul Walker was still alive.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's a point where Vin Diesel lifts a car casually while Paul Walker is under it trying to steal the chip. And that was also a point where it was just like, why don't you just... Never mind, because I was about to spoil part of the plot from this. But yeah, I mean, it's just completely divorced from reality. The plot is irrelevant. They're basically now they are all ludicrous. They are all able to hack into anything.
Whatever you got.
Literally by just stating the problem out loud, saying, I need to hack into the mainframe, and then touches 3 buttons on a touchscreen computer, and then he goes, I got it. And all of the dialogue is just kind of like affirmations that you hear like professional athletes say from a side.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of I got this. A lot of, let's get it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of come on, as they're, everything is exploding.
Yeah, this movie is, again, we even get into Dom
Yes.
racing against a heat-seeking missile.
And
isn't he in like a muscle car for this?
They do go into a frozen tundra. They're in like Siberia or something. They're somewhere in Russia. They need to stop a nuclear submarine from getting hijacked, which somehow happens. They're being chased by villains on the ice and the submarine, which, it just keeps popping back up out of the ice. And then someone fires a torpedo out of the submarine, which is able to propel itself on top of the ice, which I don't think that's humanly possible.
I don't think that's how torpedoes work.
I don't think so. It's not like a penguin where it's like they fly, but it's through water. Mm-hmm. And then it stopped because Vin Diesel leans out of his car going 100 miles an hour. His car, which is an ice charger, which doesn't exist.
True.
And then punches the torpedo. Sends it off course into the villains or into the submarine or something, and then that's it. Yes.
What is happening?
Yes. So he leans out of a moving car in a frozen tundra and then punches
a torpedo.
I believe Tyrese is driving like a neon orange Lamborghini on the ice, and then it breaks down, and somehow he ends up using the door like a sled while he's going over the I mean, it's just
dude. That's where we're at with this now. I mean,
yes, it's now. The only thing that they haven't done is travel through time.
Which
they've had people go back and forth from the dead.
That's true.
They have actually. There's a jetpack scene in this.
Okay.
There is a jetpack scene, and they're real subtle about it. And they're like, it's no big deal.
It's fine.
Jason Statham puts a jetpack on, goes on to Charlize's plane, punches 300 men to death, and then rescues Dom's child.
I mean, since they're already playing with the timeline, we've already gone out of order in time.
Right.
I feel like time traveling is not far out of the realm of possibility of what could happen with this franchise.
It's the only thing that hasn't happened yet.
Can we also
please.
talk about, while we're here, about reports and rumors of tension between The Rock and Vin Diesel during this time, particularly during the production of the Fast and the Furious films, in which they both starred in 2016.
Right.
Apparently, something came out where Rock posted on social media about some of his male co-stars, referring to them as candy asses. Although he did not specifically name Diesel, it was later confirmed that he was talking about Diesel.
I really wish I had paid more attention to this at the time. Luckily for me, I hate Twitter, so I've never used it. But apparently, I believe that was where the venue where this took place. I suspect what happened was The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, probably sat down with Vin Diesel at some point, maybe in a trailer, maybe at like a $2,000 dinner or something. He was like, "Hey man, I got to tell you, first of all, thank you for having me in these movies. It's been a great opportunity. I get to share my gift with the world. Also, are you fucking crazy?" He's probably just like, "What are you doing? What do you mean? We have jetpacks now?"
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm certain there is so much room for Vin Diesel to do something crazy that I'm sure something came out of it. And then the fact that The Rock is one of the highest paid actors of all time, any comment he could make, I'm sure there's a lot of room for something weird to happen.
I also wonder if The Rock has ever had a conversation with him where he's like, that I come from a pro wrestling family. I was a pro wrestler.
Right.
Sometimes you lose. I've lost at WrestleMania in front of 70,000 people there, a few million people around the world watching. Right. You think maybe you could lose one fucking fight in this franchise? Come on, dude. What is your ego here?
I both do and do not wish more than anything to have a conversation with Vin Diesel. Just spending an afternoon with him. Just because it would probably ruin everything for me, but also at the same time, he seems like such a wildly strange person.
Do you want to interview him, or would you just like to observe him?
Probably interview. Actually, you know what? Best case scenario is that I do that 3-hour Cat Williams interview. Mm-hmm. I interview him and that happens. I think that would be the best thing. If I just let him rip unabridged for 3 hours and show the world how fucking crazy he is.
And just gas him up the whole time. Be
exactly.
Like, oh yeah, Vin.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Hell yeah, dude. Rock.
I don't know. I know there was some sort of, weird, TMZ kind of animosity, whatever. I don't know I don't know if it was actually real or if it was under-reported or overblown. Because, it was either, manufactured rat beef or there was a real problem. Which, all of that could be the case.
I could see that being the issue. You get two dudes who are I'm the alpha male in the room.
Right.
I could see there being an issue.
Yeah, especially when you're making something impossible.
Yeah.
There's also a super crazy scene. Vin Diesel does almost die in this movie.
What?
The character,
okay.
Dom Toretto almost dies because a parking garage collapses on top of him because they're having a rocket launcher fight, him and Jason Statham. Yeah. And then... No shit, that's Fast 7 also. Because then
shit.
Paul Walker brings him back to life. And there's just this super weird, argument between Letty and Brian. And it's so wildly awkward where he's giving him CPR and just trying to bring him back to life.
Oh, no.
And then she just hugs him back to life. And then it's just... So...
It works.
Yeah, man. It all does kind of start to blend together at this point.
The one that's blurring in my head is which is the one where The Rock has a broken arm and then he sees that they're outside and he flexes to break off the cast to now go out and drive a Hummer.
Right. Yep. It's somewhere in the later half of this.
I'm not a doctor, but I don't think you can flex cast off.
You can if you're The Rock.
Okay.
He's the only guy that can do it.
Fair. Can we go on a weird detour here for a second?
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw in 2019, $759 million.
If I'm correct, I believe they saw that at this point, by 2019, the new Star Wars movies were coming out, right?
Yeah.
And didn't Star Wars try to do the thing where they were main series offshoot.
Yeah, like Rogue One and all that kind of stuff.
But they like alternated the years that they
Year.
were in theaters.
Yes.
I think they tried to do the same thing.
With
They were
Hobbs
like,
and Shaw.
they were like, these two people make enough money. Let's just flip between main series, offshoot, main series, offshoot. And then that came out in 2019. So obviously the pandemic, I think, walled all of that off.
Dude, this one, we're just getting even more ridiculous in terms of not only do we have bad guy, good guy team up, but they got to
Right.
stop Idris Elba, who, oh, by
Right.
the way, is gaining control of a deadly virus that could wipe out humanity and also is taking like this weird steroid that's now turned him into like a Superman.
He's like a cyborg. I think he had like a suit on most of the time. He drives a motorcycle that I think had some weird thing, like it could invert itself or some shit. There's no foundation of physical reality. They might as well be flying at this point. It had nothing to do with really anything. I saw it in the theater and I own the Blu-ray and I don't know if the box has ever been opened on it.
Yeah, this movie is just, hey, The Rock, do the thing you do where like
Right.
you make wise ass comments and smile, and then Statham, if you could just, oh, I'm Statham. All right, perfect, nailed it. All right, print.
Exactly. It's even more of a cash grab than everything else they made. And then I'm pretty sure they were supposed to spin off a whole series and it hasn't happened yet. So my guess is they probably just cut that loose.
Yeah, but how do you cut loose $759 million? Like,
They probably spent 400 making it.
damn.
Yeah,
Okay,
I would
true.
guess. I remember walking into that was, I mean, I knew at this point, I was like, these are bad, but I knew walking into that, it was like, this is going to be dog shit. And it completely was.
Yeah, there's just not much to say about this. All right, let's get back into this.
I don't remember a single thing about
mean,
I just remember Idris Elba is essentially invincible, and that might be the movie where they drove off a cliff. Nope, that's another one.
Well, and then what I'm trying to remember is, I'm like, was there a scene where The Rock and Statham were in prison together? Or am I just thinking of the Netflix movie where The Rock and Ryan Reynolds
Yes.
were in prison together?
No, there is a movie where The Rock and Statham are in prison together, and it is part of the Fast saga. It might be F9 or something. I can't remember, but basically, Hobbs gets locked up with everyone else, and then he's in the highest security prison. Of course, Shaw's in there, and then there's a prison break where they intentionally had all the doors open because everyone wants to kill Shaw, or everyone wants to kill The Rock because he put everyone in that prison.
Of course.
And then they have to fight the guards because it's a prison riot. All the guards are armed with beanbag shotguns, and The Rock just takes like 15 of those to the chest, and it might as well just be getting hit with feathers.
Yeah, you're not dropping The Rock with a beanbag shotgun.
No, it's great.
I mean, a normal man, it might break your sternum or collapse a lung, but The Rock,
No, or actually just kill you
Yeah.
when you get hit in the chest and it hits your heart so hard. You get Damar Hamlin out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I don't know. It's just, at this point, I'm just watching it to see how crazy and impossible they get. And in F9, they did deliver because this features one of the best scenes of all time. It does feature Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson in a Fiero that the star of Tokyo Drift somehow built with Lil Bow Wow, who, guess what? He's still alive in real life somehow.
yeah,
They built, a rocket-powered Fiero that, Elon Musk took 3 shots to get his $500 million rocket to space, but they built a Fiero, and Tyrese and Ludacris take that to space. I can't even remember I think they had to bump into a satellite, and they couldn't make it to the satellite because their car broke down. So they had to use nitrous oxide to propel themselves to it, and then somehow miraculously re-enter the atmosphere and land.
when your franchise goes to space,
Yes.
that's always a sign.
I knew when they went to space, I said, people are dying and coming back to life. They're going to space. They're punching torpedoes. The only thing they haven't done is travel time.
It really is. I mean, because what else is there left to do once you've entered space into the equation? And I'm not talking about a movie like Alien where it begins in space. I'm talking about stuff like the Jason movies where, like, eventually, once we got Jason through New York, then it was like, fucking put him in space.
Yes.
And that's what the Fast and the Furious has done here.
I am certain before this series is completely ceased that they will travel through time.
I don't see how they can.
It's the only thing that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
An interesting thing about F9 is that for many years in my life, we have our good days and our bad days and our good years and our bad years. There were many low points in my life where I knew the only reason that I had to still be alive was because I was destined to shoot the prequel to The Fast and the Furious. And that is included in the first 30 minutes of this movie.
You finally get it?
I thought I was going to be the person to do it, and I thought I was going to save the franchise. It turns out they did it on their own.
Great minds, man.
And in doing so, they introduced the fact that Vin Diesel's brother
Yes.
is John Cena.
John Cena. Yeah. What a perfect brother.
Well, they are both white people with muscles.
Yes.
So despite the fact that they look nothing alike,
Nothing at all.
they are now brothers.
It makes zero fucking sense, but here we are.
Yes. I did honestly love the details that they included in the prequel. And I did have some notes, from my own design, but overall, I was thrilled on it.
So with this one, it was Dom's dad died in a car wreck at a track.
Which is like a major component of the plot of the first film.
Yes.
And they shot it.
Mm-hmm.
They filmed it. And they actually, honestly, to their credit, made it look like 1988.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was, gritty. They didn't really use bad CGI. It looked like kind of scary real and shit. Mm-hmm. And then they explained the fact that, there was this brother and it was kind of his fault. And then that was a big part of their life.
Yeah, and they end up having a race off to decide who's going to be the brother that goes into exile. And of course,
Right.
Dom wins the race off.
Right.
And then John Cena goes into exile where he becomes an international terrorist who's trying to take over the world.
Always happens, man.
How are these people falling into this so easily? There's so many goddamn international cyber terrorists.
I've been tempted, man. I mean, I had a lot of trouble with my job search in the last year, and I thought about becoming an international terrorist. I still might. I don't know. I don't know where you have to go on LinkedIn to make that happen, but if you believe in yourself.
I think when a lot of people hear the term international terrorist, they
Right.
just think of your standard religious person,
Right.
and it's not just that. There's a lot of cyber terrorists out there now.
No one thinks about just deciding to hack a system and then doing that in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to be willing to do. You just got to figure that out. And I don't know if you have to run Linux on your computer or what it is.
I think it's a lot of Linux.
Yeah. But somehow, John Cena managed to do that while also lifting 5,000 pounds of weight a day.
Yeah.
And, here he is.
And yeah, now he's here. Which also, it's interesting that, again, another ex-WWE guy. They're just you know what? What's his acting level? Oh, Dermot.
Are you able to bench press 900 pounds, and have you demonstrated that you can generate $50 million in the box office? Because if so, we're throwing you in.
Yeah. Can you cut a one-liner?
I'm wondering how long. I know Conor McGregor just made his film debut.
Oh, Roadhouse. Have you seen that yet?
I think that might be one of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's so bad. It's hilarious. Again, it falls into this kind of thing where it knows what it
Almost.
is and it leans in.
Maybe. I don't know. I was so confused. Within 5 minutes, I knew. I was like, oh, this is going to be really bad.
Oh, yeah.
And then 15 minutes in, I said out loud, this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but I'm going to finish it because I want to see how bad it can get. And it was horrible.
I've never seen somebody play themselves that was bad at playing themselves onto this level.
Yeah, because he was just a cartoon of himself. And then I just don't know, why the fuck? Why is Donnie Darko just ruining Swayze's? I know, oh, ruined my childhood by doing the new Ghostbusters was good, but just Why did they do that?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think they could have made it not Roadhouse. They just could have called it something else. It's the same way I feel about the new episode of True Detective Night Country. We're
I
like,
didn't know they're still making that.
yeah, and I wish they would stop because you're never going to do better than season 1 of True Detective. Like, stop trying to make it an anthology where the first season was like perfect television, and like, because anything that you put after that, I now have to compare to this like incredible season,
Right.
And then I'm just like, oh, it's not as good as that. Whereas if they just would let that thing breathe and be its own thing, I would have been totally fine with it instead of comparing it to True Detective. Same thing here with Roadhouse. It's like they could have named it something else, and it just would have been like a fun action flick. And I'm bummed that people
get it.
are like having this like versus thing with these two films now.
Why Gyllenhaal?
That I can't answer.
Because like
He's got abs.
for this,
Yeah.
he does. I don't know. Like I saw, what was the wrestling movie about the family?
Oh, the
Iron
Iron
Claw?
Claw. Yeah.
I mean, those guys were all freaks. Any of them could have done that.
Yeah.
I just like why Gyllenhaal. He was not like he was Donnie Dark. He's the exact opposite of like a cool
Right.
guy, which is that was Swayze's appeal. Was he was like this genetic freak that was also like sensei level cool. And it's just like, why did you like Gyllenhaal looked like he was about to have a manic episode the entire movie. It just didn't make any. And then he tried to kill himself 6 minutes in, and it's like that's the exact antithesis of what Swayze was. Was he was so centered, it didn't matter that everything about that movie made no sense whatsoever. Jess Williams is such an incredibly bad actor. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And then why was it in Key West? Made no sense.
They don't know. It was just in Key West.
Made no goddamn sense at all. He started out in the middle of nowhere, whereas Swayze was in New York, and then meant like
Yeah, but and then they do the thing where like instead of being in the farmhouse, he's on a boat, and I also like
kind of, and then like was the dock master supposed to be like the farmer or something?
I
Like,
guess I also like when like Gyllenhaal was accidentally killing dudes instead of trying to kill them. Like when he's fighting the dude from FX's Mayans on the boat. And then he accidentally gets eaten by an alligator because even though he was trying to kill Gyllenhaal
Right.
was like, I'm not trying to kill you, but oops, you fell in the water and now you're gator's food.
That is actually something that I would love to sit down with like the writers of that and be like, why did you do this? Because
Again,
it doesn't make any sense.
because I think that the studio gave them the components of what they've written is going to be, and the writers just like, fuck, dude, just lean in and just be real. Like, what else can we do with this other than make it this? Because it is a service. I mean, if they give you Conor McGregor, it's like, fuck, we can't have him act like we.
I would rather had McGregor just try to be Swayze.
Yeah,
Like, seriously, be like, well, at least he's an insane person. So that's why he's
true.
bad at acting. But instead, they were like, let's get the kid that was famous for being a really awkward schizophrenic in his most popular movie. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh man, I really wish they would have recast it with McGregor as the Swayze character.
I'd rather watch that and just have him try to pretend to be cool.
Oh no, I don't know, man. I love how bad this movie is. It is so bad, and it's so much fun because it's so terrible.
Yeah, well, I hope they make 10 more of them like these. There's a tie-in for it.
Well, Conor McGregor will eventually show up in one of these. Like, there's no way.
Probably going to be the next one.
There's no way he's not. And
They had Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. Oh god,
one
she's
of-
terrible.
She barely had any words, and she was pretending to be foreign. I think.
I don't think she can read.
Probably not.
I don't. I'm pretty sure she's.
They literally just had her in a fight scene against Michelle Rodriguez, and then that was it for the entire movie. I think she said maybe 4 words.
Did Michelle Rodriguez get the W?
I'm pretty sure it was while they were stealing the car in Dubai to drive it from skyscraper to skyscraper.
I would hope Michelle Rodriguez has the has the Dom clause in her thing where she does not lose in any of the fights in the Fast and the Furious either.
Yeah, I mean, it would make perfect sense for her. She's probably like a 5'2" woman to go up against the most famous female fighter of the last like 15 years.
Yeah, she can go toe to toe with her.
The rest of F9, I mean, I really, besides the opening scene, Oh, this one does feature the Tarzan thing at the end.
Oh yeah, what's that about?
Well, John Cena drives a car off a cliff doing 120 miles an hour, and then he disappears, so you think he's dead, but then it turns out Charlize Theron makes her return appearance by picking him up in a plane in an completely impossible to imagine thing. So, I mean, everything about it, as we said multiple times, this is beyond imagination at this point. But
Can I ask you this? F9, the Fast Saga for the name. What do you think? Like
I don't know.
This is such a weird thing to call a movie.
it doesn't make any sense. Fate of the Furious, that was pretty good. 'cause
No, yeah,
F8,
I like that.
real cute. F9, the saga, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. The prequel was the only part of it that was good. The rest of it, complete dog shit. And they are now continuing to lose money, which plays a major factor.
726 million.
So, I mean, that's down from 1.5. Now you're at half. That plays a major factor in the final chapter that has been released, which is Fast 10 or Fast X, Part 1.
Okay, so this is
Two-part sequel, Harry
two-part
Potter
sequel,
style.
Harry Potter style.
Yeah.
All right, where are we at in the current timeline? What's happening?
They are in the present, I believe. They are continuing to say that Paul Walker's character is alive, but, technically he's just busy doing something else.
Raising a family.
Raising a family, yes. He can't go out on the mission because he has to raise the family.
And Dom respects that because family is everything.
Of course. Again, I'm trying to think of like a famous line, but yes, family is all that they have. So the movie, once again, they said, we need to make as much money as possible. We need to put in a major action star who is a muscle-bound freak that we haven't put in. Answer, Jason Momoa.
It writes itself.
It does. He was Aquaman. Now it's time to bring him in. Jason Momoa, of course, we need to make sure he's a blood relative of someone. Well, guess what? Fast 4 or Fast 5 went pretty well. Let's have him be the son of the villain from that movie for some reason.
Perfect.
So Jason Momoa, who I believe is famously Hawaiian?
Yeah, I think he's Hawaiian or Samoan.
Hawaiian or
Yeah.
Samoan? Guess what? Now he's Brazilian.
Okay, it's fine.
Son of a Brazilian. And this is my favorite character development in any film ever, is Jason Momoa in Fast 10 Part 1. Because from start to finish in this movie, they make Jason Momoa progressively more gay.
Wait, what?
And I don't mean like 2024, he's in a respectful relationship with another man. And I don't mean 1996 slander. I mean, if you watch this movie, which I can't recommend highly enough, throughout the film, he starts as just a guy in Brazil with like kind of like a pastel suit. In each scene that he's in, he gets progressively more and more bizarrely, stereotypically gay. To the point where in the third scene that he's in, he's got his hair in pigtails and he is painting his nails and also the nails of the two people that he's just murdered while holding the phone with his pinkies out and making threatening terroristic calls. And then he proceeds to wear more and more gender fluid type clothing. There is also a dance scene for no reason in which he is fighting and also dancing and also kind of singing. And his everything just gets more and more ambiguous throughout the duration of the film. No one knows why. It's not addressed once.
Nobody says anything?
No one says a single word. It's
like-
never addressed. There's never any information as to why it is that he's like this. There's no reason for him to become like a more and more extravagant and weird character. And it's possible that these were all Jason Momoa's choices because, as we mentioned, box office is going down each time, including this one, which was something like 600 million. So now they're at almost a third of what their pinnacle Fast 7 made. Vin Diesel goes out publicly blames the financial failure of this movie on Jason Momoa for, quote, overacting his part.
Hell yeah, Vin Diesel. Way to complete.
So
way to shift the blame.
I am never going to stop watching these. I saw this movie. I watched half of it 2 days ago. I don't even know what happens. I can't even tell. At one point, it starts with them in Rome, and then they drive a bomb the size of this room into the Vatican, and then it takes out half of Rome. And then they're like, "Oh, that's bad."
That happens.
Yeah,
guys, are we murderers? No, it was fine.
it was an accident. It was a setup by Jason Momoa.
Oh shit.
Yeah, who it turns out, you wouldn't believe it, also a cyber terrorist tech genius.
Every time.
Yeah, but he drives a motorcycle in this, and that's a big deal.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So they keep changing what they say is going to happen. I'm pretty sure this is still supposed to be a 2-part sequel, and this was supposed to be the final chapter. However, Vin Diesel has also come out and said there's going to be an animated series.
What?
Yeah, he said there's going to be something to do with Netflix. There's going to be all of this shit. No one actually knows what's going to happen.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around the idea of the Fast and the Furious animated series.
There's going to be something like they want to basically, like I said, because this is my Star Wars, Vin Diesel also wants to turn this into his Star Wars. He wants this to be on digital platforms. He wants there to be spin-offs. I think there's been some version of a video game. He wants to do he wants to turn this into Lucasfilms, basically.
I don't know if he's a genius or if this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That's the entire ethos of both Vin Diesel and the Fast Saga. I mean, that's a perfect summary of all of this.
It really is. I mean, because it doesn't make sense. It's like,
also, he has a weird history of being a super early investor on a lot of successful tech and video game platforms. And he actually has a fuckload of money.
really?
Yeah. So, is he a genius, or is he just the dumbest asshole on the planet because he invested in video games and it worked out?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm pulling for him.
Yeah. And I'm going to keep watching these movies. I've seen everyone in the theater. I'm going to see everyone in the theater for the rest of the time.
Of the future developments, what are you most stoked on? Like, you're going to get the sequel to this, and it's going to probably get things to go. But like,
I'm hoping there's some type of closure, and I'm ready to take a few years off. And then, if I make everything in my life work out the way I will, at some point, 10 years from now, I'll be directing the prequel that I've written and that got greenlit.
I'm so happy for you, man. If that does happen, if that dream does become reality,
Yeah.
It's
big for me.
It's huge for you.
Yeah.
It's huge for all of us to see you make it and take the Fast Saga in the direction it was always meant to go.
Right. So, in summary, if anyone hasn't seen any of these movies and somehow you made it, if you haven't seen any of these movies and you listened to 2 hours of me talking about films you haven't seen, number one, please come kill me, because obviously you're on your way towards doing that also. But before you do that, I would recommend starting with Fast 1 and then just immediately going to Fast 10.
How much has the character of Dom changed from 1 to 10? Like,
that's the thing. Like I said, he was just a guy that lifted some weights. He had taken some acting classes, and he was just, whatever, an action movie guy. He is now so... Vin Diesel might think that he lives on Mars.
Possibly.
At this point, there is nothing that I can't imagine that he would think.
Yeah, it really has just turned this character into this Marvel superhero adjacent thing that I'm not even sure if Vin Diesel is human at this point.
No. But
he's the next evolved state of what we can all hope to become someday.
Right. And also he values family. So, I mean, you got to respect that.
As we all should. Yeah. Giles, man, let the people know where they can find you at if they want to check out stuff you're doing right now.
Yes. You can find me online everywhere at Source Industries. And you can see me April 12th at Commonwealth, where I will be bringing Cool Showman to life once again.
Listener, go out and see Cool Showman's awesome stuff, and definitely make sure you check it out on the YouTube channel at Source Industries. Hey, thanks for listening to What You Into. If you got friends in the Fast and Furious or just cars in general, shoot this episode to them. Do it via text because the algorithms kind of suck now and nobody sees shit. So anything you can do to help, that really does help. I don't need your money. Just share it with somebody else. And while you're doing it, tell them there's over 150 other episodes of What You Into. Every one of them is evergreen. You can pop in wherever you want to. You don't have to worry about year. Should I listen to these 5 episodes first? No, just get in where you see something cool and check it out. Giles, man, thank you for coming back and doing the show. I appreciate you.
Thank you. This is always a pleasure, and I'm going to have to think about what other thing I've thought about way too much to come back for another episode.
Hell yeah, we'll make it happen. All right, listener, peace.